Cloud engineering is not what I thought it was going to be. My name's Luke, I'm a cloud consultant engineer and have been for a couple of years. I began as an associate engineer, coming from project management / consultant, and so I had a few assumptions as to what the role was going to entail. The first assumption I had was that I was going to be drawing and using architectural diagrams such as this all the time. I thought that I'd be working on new ones frequently for clients, and that I'd be working from these to build out the project in the cloud, right? But that is not the case pretty much at all. You very rarely work with architectural diagrams. You mainly actually work from sometimes spreadsheets where there'll be specific things that are happening in here and you're having to talk to people, communicate to them, find out what's going wrong, but also you'll have specific tasks on here. Additionally, and more frequently, you'll be leveraging tickets, which is what these are here, within some sort of board like a Kanban board, something that you get when you're following a Scrum methodology. And so here, one ticket would say, go and do this, and then you would go and do that thing, as opposed to working, say, from this architectural diagram. And the reason for that is because there's loads of stuff that has to be done to implement this, and that's captured in tickets, and then as an engineer, you pick these up. Doing these diagrams or creating them and blah, blah, blah is more something for a solutions architect. But you can't jump into it. You kind of have to earn your stripes as a cloud engineer, which is the harsh truth that I had to learn. Number 2, Terraform. If you're familiar with cloud engineering, you know that Terraform is a declarative language that you use to provision resources in the cloud. I have a video explaining it further. It's like 3 minutes long, so go check that out. The link in the description if you fancy it. But essentially, you write code which then implements this stuff here. So I thought I was going to be living and breathing in Terraform 24/7. But it turns out, actually, a lot of cloud engineering is done, not best practice, but through some portal like the Azure portal or say the AWS console, which if you can see here, if you have any familiarity with it, this is where you would manually go and click in to make resources and to modify resources. Now often the reason for this can be that the specific client you're working with, they could require say a migration to the cloud, but they don't care how it's done. They just want to lift and shift, get it up into the cloud because say they have to be moved out of a data center in the next couple of months, for example. And so you will come across Terraform, you will use it. I've used it loads, but you don't always use it. Some clients you don't use it at all, so you can be doing like 4 months of no Terraform. Third and finally, I had mad imposter syndrome when I first started out. Why? Because when I was trying to learn how to become a cloud engineer, you get things like this. Cloud engineers should have strong general programming skills along with knowledge of programming languages such as SQL, Java, Python, Ruby, Golang, PHP, .NET, networking, virtual networks, general network management. Right. I have baseline knowledge of SQL. I had done Java at uni, Python a little bit in my spare time, and then none of these, tiny bit of networking from uni. But then additionally, when you would then search like what should I actually learn, so which actual technologies are used, you get things like this, top 10 cloud automation tools. So here you have Azure, then you have CloudFormation, which is AWS, Terraform, which you can use for all of them, Kubernetes, orchestration, you have then Chef automation, Ansible, Puppet, Packer, Google, Scalar, and then on this other side we have GitLab, Git, AWS, Docker, blah blah blah. Right, there is just like a million things to learn, and so every time I come into contact with people at work, I'm like, oh my goodness, they know so much. I know absolutely nothing. I need to learn everything ever, but you don't. The baseline set of skills that I had come in with were I had done a Terraform tutorial in AWS because the job I was going for at the time is AWS. I'm actually moving to Azure. If you want to find out why, video will be coming soon, sorry for that. But I had done a Terraform tutorial in Azure. I had then done a CI/CD pipeline tutorial in Jenkins, which I didn't really understand at the time. And then a little bit of Python knowledge just from coding little snippets here and there. And this was enough to get me a decently paying junior cloud engineer role. And then from there, you learn other things whilst you're within the company. So for example, whilst being in this company, I've used Packer, right? Learned that obviously. Terraform, I've done a little bit of ARM, and then obviously Git. I've used GitLab in Spain here. And then I've just had like little bits of other ones like Kubernetes, a little bit of Ansible, Chef, Docker, AWS. And so you start to then learn them whilst you're there. But the problem is that you think everyone knows everything. They don't. Most people only know a little bit about a few of these things. And then you can conceptually use the knowledge you have to learn the other things, because some of them are really similar. For example, Terraform, CloudFormation, and ARM templates are the exact same concept. So you just learn one, and then you hear about the other one, have a quick glance, and you kind of understand it. So anyway, basically, long story short is that you don't need to know as much as you think. Just understand a base set of tools and how they work. Now this here, obviously, you could learn, but I would advise, if you're new, to learn Terraform, learn it using Azure, which I have a tutorial on the channel showing you how to do that. And then instead of Jenkins CI/CD, because you're using Azure, use for CI/CD Azure DevOps. We have a tutorial on the channel how to do that with Terraform. And then you can just do a bit of Python for some scripting, or you can instead learn PowerShell, right? Which is another scripting language. So that's my 3 things that I expected and were completely wrong about. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. Comment any questions, queries you have. Until next time, I'll see you later. Take care.